put a piece of duct tape with that number written in 3-inch high numerals right on the dashboard in front of him.
I think you could put $1 million or $1. It wouldn't matter to Sterling Marlin. He will go for it. 3 times he was the champion over at the Nashville Fairgrounds. And the guy that flagged all those races, Doyle Ford, is the flagman here today. Be something if he won under the same set of flags where he won all those track championships. Well, let's take a look back through the field here. Sterling Marlin in the 22 has the advantage. And Davey Allison tucked right in behind him in second spot in that car number 28. Going a little further back in the field, we get to car number 3, and there sits Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt continues just roll off, wins, stays up on top of the points. Right behind him is the number 9. There's Bill Elliott having a very good run today in 4th position.
Over $10 million in earnings. We saw those figures on Dale Earnhardt, the top money winner in all the motorsports. Dale Earnhardt is, but Bill Elliott right there in 4th place today.
Take a look at 5th. Here's Hut Strickland, that number 12 car that had such a great run at Michigan. The youngster in the Bobby Allison car, who's continuing to put some good numbers together here in 1991. He's running in 5th. And in the 6th position, Alan Kulwicki is now, he's a lap down. Alan Kulwicki is 1 lap down.
Being shown in 25th position at the moment.
And trying to get himself a good finish this year. He's not had the kind of year he would like. Behind him is the number 6 of Mark Martin, and he is running in the 6th position. Had a great run in the point standings last year, trying to get right back into it. Following comes number 40. You see 49, that's Stan Smith's car, the Alabama campaigner who came out of the All-Pro League of NASCAR. Good runner. Has big plans for next year.
Yes, he does. He's currently being shown in 27th position. He is 1 lap down to the leaders.
And as we check further back, looking at the field, pretty big interval there. Whoops. Bullock just shot by at 200 miles an hour. There's the A.J. Foyt car, with Chase making his 2nd start in car number 14 for A.J., who is here. Mike Chase in that Oldsmobile. Now you see the number 5, and that is Ricky Rudd. He is in the 7th position at the present time.
Of course, second in the Winston Cup point standings going into this race, about 140 points behind Dale Earnhardt. Then Joe Ruttman, 46 years old. His top finish was in the Daytona 500 this year when he finished 3rd.
9th is that number 11, the Junior Johnson car. That's Jeff Woodine. A little pressure being exerted there on the 42-year-old campaigner. Right there is car number 47, moving in and trying to get a run, and I think he may have gone a lap
well,
down.
He did, Ken, because he had an extra pit stop. He came in about the time many of the others did, but also he was in not too long ago. So in fact, he finds himself 2 laps down now to the leaders, shown in 37th position.
Showing 58 laps complete. Greg Sachs, 60 on the leader. And now you see Chad Little's car, number 19. He is running in the 10th position on the field. And this 28-year-old youngster out of Spokane, Washington, whose dad has given him a lot of support. His father has owned a couple of tracks out in the Northwest. All of a sudden, they've come to life. Harry Hyde is working with him this weekend.
Young man,
made a big difference in Pocono last
year. Yes, it certainly did. And Chad Little is probably the only driver in the field who graduated from college with a law degree. He has not taken the bar exam yet. He says he wants to get some racing out of the way first.
There he is, number 19, Chad Little, showing 10th. And there's Lake Speed in the Cale Yarborough, number 66. Remember, there's been a couple of replacements. Dick Trickle started this car. And for the moment, the guy who said that all the adversity he has suffered over the year with his own team has just taught him to be patient and a lot more appreciative of anything that comes his way. Lake Speed at the moment in the number 66, shown 11th. Now here's Harry Gant in the 33 car. And according to what we're registering on Harry Gant's car today, that number 33, if they got him a lap down,
well, he should, I would have thought he'd be, they showed him in 27th position, 1 lap down, but I really would have thought that he would have been in about the 24th, the 14th or 15th position. So I don't know. We'll have to check that. He's running good right now, and he won the race here in May by gas mileage.
Oldest winner in Winston Cup racing. Doesn't like to be reminded of that. 51-year-old Harry Gant at number 33, scooting down the back straightaway. Now here you see Mike Chase's Oldsmobile again, number 14 for A.J. Foyt. A.J., I think his feet are more tender now than they were even a month ago. They're healing, but when he walks, it's a very deliberate step.
Yeah, it's too bad. I know he would like to be out here driving the car, but he's got a good man in there.
12th place is Ernie Irvin's number 4. Been up duking it out in the lead for a while. Now settles back as we take a look at those cars in the lead lap. There's 25 of them still there. And you watch Ernie Irvin coming by in the 4 car, followed by Rusty Wallace. He's in 12th, having a good run thus far. And then the 42, Bobby Hillin is shown in 13th.
His only career victory came here at Talladega.
1986. Major upset. Let's go back up in front, where once again, car number 3, Earnhardt, puts that Chevy out in front. And here comes Alan Kulwicki trying to get back one of those 2 laps.
Exactly. He is trying to get, he is only 1 lap down. He went 2 laps down when he made his pit stop, but when everybody else made their pit stops, then that put him only 1 lap down to the leader. But he's trying to get back up there and get in front and hope for a caution, but right now he's not able to do that.
Buck Strickland trying to gain another position as well in the car number 12, fighting with his cousin-in-law back there, as they say. His Alabama families.
Yeah.
Neil Bonnet standing by with the guy he used to drive for.
Again, we're here with Junior Johnson. He's listening in stereo today. You know, Sterling's right up there mixing up. Junior really running good, and you got Sterling on one side of your radio and Jeff on the other side. What are they saying? How are the cars running now?
Well, Neil, I can listen to one of them, and I'm in Jeff's pits right now, so I can switch back and forth and kind of keep up with their conversations on what they're saying and what they plan on doing. Anything I hear I don't like, I can change, but both of the teams pretty much know what they got to do, and the drivers does too, so they've been at it long enough they can do it by themselves.
I'll tell you what, Ken, they might be doing what they want to do, but those headsets kind of overrule when it comes time to
Now, if they had Flossie on the setup, that would be the ultimate rule.
She's on holiday. She's down in Orlando. I don't think she's here this weekend. There's the 17 car, and that is Darrell Waltrip, currently being shown at 21st. And a reminder, we have 24 cars in the lead lap as we work lap number 67. Darrell's about where he wants to be for the moment.
Well, he's about over a half a lap behind the leaders right now, but he's happy there. That's fine. He's running in a big pack of cars, and here are the leaders, and maybe the lead's about to change again. Sterling Marlin down on the inside of Dale Earnhardt. He looks up in his mirror and says, come on, one of my Ford buddies, help me get on around here. But Davey Allison's going with Dale Earnhardt up there on the outside.
And Alan Kulwicki is trying to find Sterling Marlin to pull him up through and try to retrieve one of those 2 laps that he has been docked. Mark Martin's number 6 once again finds its number up on the leaderboard. Fading back a bit. Car number 22, no place to go. That giant wash of sound as they head through that 18-degree tri-oval. Go back into turn number 1, and from Davey Allison's perspective, here's what it's like at 190 miles per hour as he closes in on the 4-time Winston Cup champion, Dale Earnhardt.
Well, we can see how high Davey was running on the racetrack, and we see to the left there of Dale Earnhardt was running very low in the track. Now let's see when they go into turn 3. See Earnhardt goes way low, and then we see that angle of the banking as we go into turn 3, and Davey's still a little bit higher on the racetrack. You can see the back end of Earnhardt's car moving around a little bit down on the inside, but then once they hit the straightaway, well, he pulls right up behind him. Let's go to the pits now, and Mike Joy.
Rookie contender Bobby Hamilton in a bit early for right side tires. A lot of changes on this crew this week. New Jackman, Gary Leffler, David Hilton, and John Phillips are changing those tires, which have put Hamilton a 2nd lap down. Ken, while we have it, let's update you on the Harry Gant situation. Gant was one of the cars following Alan Kulwicki when Alan was leaking some fluid there on the racetrack. So when Harry came into his pit, his windshield was so obscured from the grease and oil, he couldn't find his pit and had to come all the way around the track again. Andy Petrie, the crew chief, guided Harry in by radio control, when to turn in and where to stop. So that's what put Harry 2 laps down.
Well, thanks for the information, because it didn't seem possible that Harry could have gone a lap down. And there's the story on Harry Gant. That 68 of Bobby Hamilton was running in 23rd position. They're averaging 192 miles per hour as you watch our live CBS coverage of the Die Hard 500 here from Talladega, Alabama. And you're riding with Davey Allison having his hands full with Bill Elliott and company at the moment. This is up in front.
They're running a little bit faster than they qualified, Ken, but no surprise, because when several cars hook up together and get in the draft, they can run faster than one car out there running by itself.
70 laps are now complete, 186 of the 500 miles, with Earnhardt first, Elliott second, Allison third, Marlin fourth, Mark Martin is in fifth, and they're all in a bundle. The first place Toronto Blue Jays take on the Boston Red Sox. That's Major League Baseball next Saturday on CBS Sports. 73 laps are complete in the Die Hard 500 at Talladega, Alabama, as car number 3, Dale Earnhardt, leads a parade of 21 cars in the lead lap. Number 9, Bill Elliott, trying to ambush the Chevrolet in second spot. Davey Allison was just making a run for the lead. He's fallen back to third position as you get this view of Davey Allison at work in his car. And the word is he's getting a hot foot out there.
Well, we understand his right foot is burning, and that's not unusual because it lays right against that tunnel on the floorboard. For more on that, let's go to the pits and Neil Bunny.
Ned, we're down here with Joey Knuckles. They're always helping us, telling us what's going on the racetrack. He came to me and said, can you look in the in-car camera? Davey's burning his foot, and you're concerned if they got the pad on.
Well, you know, with the skirts on both sides of these cars, it's really an oven up there. We've got a lot of insulation, but with the exhaust pipes right there on his feet, it's got kind of hot. He said he was cocking his foot a little bit, but I gave him a knee pad when he come in. He hadn't called back. He's been, you know, out there running with all these cars, so I was afraid to ask him, so I just hope he's okay.
Guys, can you tell if he's got that pad on yet?
We couldn't see it from up here.
No, the camera doesn't go quite that low. Now we're moving down there, Neil, but we're seeing the corner of the seat when it camera points in that direction. So
Great
we really
shot of
can't,
his
because
elbow.
it would be right at his ankles is where they would want, or his ankle on his right foot is where they would want that pad.
Ned, do you remember when Darrell Waltrip burned his foot so badly that he charred the bone? I mean, he just sat in there, I believe it was at Daytona, and just kept on trucking. And actually, when he came in, he had charred the bone in his heel.
Oh, it gets extremely hot. I remember one time in Nashville, Tennessee, on a night race. Darrell won the race over there, and at the end of the race in Victory Lane, they had a bucket of ice water, and he welcomed the opportunity to stick his foot down, and the steam just came up. I mean, it's unbelievable to see that little reaction there.
Battle for the lead continues here.
This heat is exacerbated by the regulations that call for the right side windows to be up in these cars at the super tracks. There's really no air in these cars as there are at some of the other tracks. It's like an oven in there. Believe me, it is hot.
Chevy versus Ford up in front. Chevy's on the outside, and Sterling Marlin planks that number 22 right on the bottom. Takes Davey Allison with him for second spot at turn 3, and there's the Buick of Hut Strickland, number 12 up on the high side with that black Chevrolet of Dale Earnhardt.
He feels that his best chance of getting out front again would be to ride with Dale Earnhardt up there on the outside. But Sterling Marlin has other ideas as he wants to stay down on the inside and keep the lead.
I want to remind you folks, you're watching it live. I mean, the competition is so tight, it looks like a movie today out here. This is live on CBS, the Die Hard 500 from Talladega, Alabama, and this has been the battle all day for the lead thus far. 77 laps now complete. That brings us to 204 miles down. Only one caution to date.
Mike Chase in the car number 14 caught up in that big pack of traffic, but he gets out of the way there. Jimmy Means also going another lap down in the car number 52. Jimmy currently being shown in 38th position.
They say that Dale Earnhardt last year that his dry goods business earned something like $10 million. You saw one of the shirts there, and of course he has 2 or 3 other drivers that are part of that combination.
Well, they do a tremendous business with T-shirts and caps and jackets and all that kind of thing.
There's the 17th place car slowing down is number 25, Schrader.
Yeah.
He's backing off as you see them going down into turn 1.
He's probably running 150, 160 miles an hour, but that's not fast enough out there today.
Hardly walking. Car number 25, Ken Schrader.
He has it all the way down on the apron there now, Ken. That's not too good. You can see he's sort of relaxing, just steering it around, trying to get back to the pits.
We had an opportunity to talk to him earlier. This might not be the moment. That's a terrible frustration for Schrader in the car number 25 as he tries to nurse this car back onto pit road.
Ken, what's wrong? Schrader, what's your problem?
I don't know. The thing just laid down, Ned. Something it's terminal in the engine.
Oh, that's too bad. You had a great run going. Well, that has to be disappointing. He's right up there in the point standings.
Yeah, fifth.
Coming into this race in 5th place, and boy, this hurts.
That'll drop him down. Ken Schrader in one of the Rick Hendrick cars supplied us with some excitement here at the start of this race. Gave us some great pictures out at 79 laps complete.
Check the valves. Put a set of spark plugs in.
Not ready to give it up.
No,
he wants
he's
to go
not
out
ready
there
to
and
give
fight
it
for
up.
those
That's
points.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check all the valves. Put a set of spark plugs in.
Now, that's not the crew chief doing that talking. That's the driver doing the talking. Of course, Ken Schrader knows a lot about a race car.
You know, he was only home one day last month. He's racing every day of the week all over the United States. Of course, his wife, she stayed home a lot. She was home 2 days. She and the baby traveled with him. Almost.
Almost, yeah. I'll tell you, he's a racer, no doubt about it.
Look at this battle up in front. Now it's Earnhardt out in front again, and here comes 30-year-old Hut Strickland, the pride of Alabama. The newest carrier of the Alabama gang flag down that backstretch in 2nd spot. And what a show he's putting on. He's in there. Sterling Marlin mixing it up. And here's Davey Allison running for it. Watch that tack when he jumps in and out of the draft here. And then maybe you can talk about that a little.
Yeah, the RPMs definitely change when he gets in the draft. You see there it went down to 6,900. Now we'll see when he hits the straightaway. He drops down even into the 6,800 bracket. When he gets up in the draft, it starts picking up a little bit again, 6,900. Probably go over 7,000. There it did. Went right over 7,000 as he got in the draft. So you can see there's a variance of about 200 RPMs per lap, depending on where he is on the racetrack and how much drafting he's able to do. Look at Earnhardt, a little bit wiggly up there in front of him.
And wobbling down to the inside, right up at 192 mile an hour average, comes car number 22. Sterling Marlin almost touched there, and I believe they did. Just grazing the paint at over 190 miles per hour. 81 laps are complete, 215 miles. Remember that 94 laps will mark the halfway distance. And here comes Hut Strickland at number 12. He's going for 5 points to lead this thing. Hut Strickland charging down through into Buick. He's got the Chevy on the outside. His cousin-in-law, Davey Allison, on the inside. And here's Hut Strickland. About ready to lead this thing.
And the lead, no question about it. We saw that 5-car of Ricky Rudd. There he is, the bride controller up there on the outside of Earnhardt. Ken, not too long ago, Rudd was running in 7th place, but was trailing the pack by about 5 seconds. He has led a pack of cars right up there to the front runners.
You talk about racing. Look at this pack as we move toward halfway, battling over 190 miles an hour, inches apart. And this is the scramble for first. Unbelievable. Remember that Alan Kowicki is 2 laps down, but he stays right in there, trying to make up one of those laps.
Now, he's only 1 lap down. He went 2 laps down when he made his pit stop, and when others made their pit stop.
He caught that one out.
Yeah, right.
So 1 lap, and he's back with the leaders. Thanks, Ned.
Now,
2 complete.
We talked about Rudd. He would certainly like to get up there and lead. I don't think he has led a lap so far today, and he would love to do that because there's 5 bonus points that goes to a driver when they lead a lap in Winston Cup racing. And boy, he certainly needs that because Dale Earnhardt has been up front quite a bit today and has a good chance of leading the most laps, which is another 5 bonus points. So he wouldn't want to give up 10 bonus points in one day.
This has to work on your mind, running that tight together for that long at that high speed.
Well, it really does. You certainly can't break your concentration for 1 moment. If you do, as Chris Economac pointed out at the front of the first race, just 1 slight mistake can cause disaster out here. So that concentration's got to be there every second.
Hut Strickland is out in front, and Davey Allison rides second as the Alabama gang rides atop the field in the Die Hard 500.
We're here on top of the Sears Die Hard truck in the huge garage area in the infield of the Talladega Superspeedway. 215 acres in this infield. We're up here on top with a good view of the garage area. Turn around and see the track. We've got Kenny Schrader with us. But an interesting point. The race record for this event is 178.7 miles an hour, set in 1978 by Lenny Pond. The average now is over 190. We may see a record race before it's all over. Kenny, I think that when your career is over, you're going to be an announcer. You sounded great in that car. Well, what made it lay down, to use your word?
Well, you know, I got a better shot of being an announcer than I do an engine builder. All I know is it quit. There's probably something in the valve train or piston or something like that, Chris. It went to 7 and started slowing down. It was getting ready to make pieces, so we just shut it off.
All this inspection finish here, checking the air dams, trimming them, and all that kind of stuff. Did it affect the handling of your car? And could you see it affecting any other driver's handling?
Well, I think, you know, it affected a little bit, but, you know, NASCAR has made the cars handle better with raising the front air dam and putting more spoiler in the back. And everybody was, you know, nobody looked like they were hanging on like we have in the past. Everybody was pretty much under control.
You know, the racing is pretty good with the restrictor plates. How tough was it to pass?
It may look good. It's not much fun inside the car, but if you had a good partner, I got hooked up with Buddy Baker there and with Michael Waltrip, and they'd both get right on you. And they'd just get a couple feet behind you, and you could flat get around some cars. And
okay, run by your schedule for us. Where your next race is, Kenny, quickly.
we're just running a couple races next week. So we're going to run Wednesday night in Grant City, Illinois, with the little dirt car, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday we go to Topeka, Kansas for the Wendy's 100, the ARCA road race out there.
Good luck on both of them. Thanks for coming by, Kenny Schrader. Back to you, Ken.
Thanks, Chris. Bad day for Ken Schrader, who certainly is deserving of something better than what happened today. Take a look at this graphic. These are the guys that are still looking for that first checkered flag in Winston Cup racing. Right now, Sterling Marlin is second in the field. Hut Strickland, who had been leading, is falling back to third. Joe Rutten, been around for a long time, is running sixth. Chad Little having a great day in 11th. And Rick Mast in 15th. How about Michael Waltrip in 17th?
And I'll tell you, he has come awfully close several times this year. Michael Waltrip has to win.
Checking the leaderboard as we move toward halfway in the event. 90 laps are officially on the board at the present time, with Davey Allison up in front. Sterling Marlin being shown as second. Hut Strickland finds himself third. Bill Elliott is that fourth place runner. And Ricky Rudd, just like you said, he's found himself a fifth spot out here. He's becoming a real factor in this race.
Yeah, he's moving right up in the pack.
But they're the top three for the moment. Allison, Marlin, Strickland.
Well, we see Alan Kowicki's car, and we said several times, he's a lap down. Now, he is currently in 21st position. There are 20 cars on the lead lap now.
I'd like to know from someone the story on number 3, Earnhardt. You see him here, and he is continuing to back up. That car is back in 8th, and twice he's come out of the draft. Remember early in the day, we saw him just motor down to the inside, hunker down, and take everybody? That's not the case on car number 3, and I'm wondering if something might be amiss there.
Well, I don't know. He might be content just sitting in there riding in the middle of that pack with the draft, saving some fuel. You can conserve a little bit of fuel by riding in the middle of the pack. And Earnhardt's crew, now they are known for getting good horsepower and certainly for setting that car up well. But we got a car in the wall over here in turn 2.
Harry Gant at number 33 has struck the outside wall hard.
And the caution will come out for the second time here today. So the winner here in May won't repeat here in July.
Running in 25th position. Gant, one lap down, has tagged the wall hard. Second caution of the day for Gant. Dallenbach brought out the first one. Field goes under yellow, and we'll move to the halfway point. They're now working lap 93. Halfway, 250 miles would be lap 94.
It looked like we could see Harry Gant taking his window net down. There's a couple of fellows there on that camper sort of blocking the view of Harry Gant in the Leo Jackson Oldsmobile, but it looked like there for a moment he was taking that window net down. So that's the good news. Now the safety equipment start to move in.
As they came to the line, the 30 and 17 cars were running 18th and 19th, the Waltrip brothers. Remember, they started side by side. Let's see again what we can discern from. Yeah, he was already loose, already breaking away. That looked like it might have been a tire.
Yeah, it could have been. We saw the car number 94, it looked like, of Terry Labonte going by on the outside just as Gant was in the trouble there. So that's too bad. They'll certainly be coming into the pits, I would think, Ken, because everybody, in fact, they were not too far away from regular pit stops, maybe another 15 or so laps, but they only changed right side tires on their green flag pit stops. I'm sure there are a lot of drivers, and Earnhardt might be one of them. We were talking about him when this caution came out, that maybe the left side tires were getting a little bit worn, and he would welcome the opportunity to come in and get 4 new ones on there.
20 cars are in the lead lap, and as you pointed out, the 21st place car is the number 7 of Kowicki. He'll get another shot from inside on that restart lineup, getting back in the lead lap.
Well, he will, but it'll be awfully tough. Here's Davey Allison as we ride with him right into the pits. Brings it to a halt. Everybody else coming down pit road.
Neil Bonner.
Ken, we're right here in Davies Pit. They're going to do the 4 tires. They were about 8 laps away from a normal stop, and it's kind of unique to see this happen. They had to come over and tell the NASCAR inspector, hey, we want to add a little bit of rear spoiler. We want to put a little bit more angle on it. It's almost like getting permission to do something. He's killed the motor, cranked back up, he's killed it again. They're having a little bit of trouble getting it going. They're going to push it right now. They got him running. It shouldn't hurt him that much, but you have to get permission to mess with that rear spoiler, and they had to tell the inspector prior to it. Let's go down to the pits. Mike Joy.
Ernie Irvan pulls away after making his stop. Has to dodge a tire there in the center of the lane as Bodine, Ruttman, and Chad Little go by. I'm in the Dale Earnhardt pit where they have made some changes to Earnhardt's car. He said the car was getting a little bit loose out there, so when he came in, Scott Kluka jumped over the wall, and he put a whole turn of wedge there in the left rear. And also it looked, Richard Childress, like you were making some moves on that spoiler in the back.
Yeah, we knocked a couple of degrees more in the back of it there. It's just a tick loose when 2 or 3 cars get around him there. It seems like it, he just needs a little more right there. So I think we'll be okay now.
So a turn in the left rear, some more spoiler. How about stagger?
We'll be okay.
that grin, mate. I think that was just a little change there, and Richard's usually right when he makes a pronouncement like that.
Yes, sir. He's the cagey one, no question about it.
They're not ready to put it up on the trailer yet.
No.
Car number 3, Dale Earnhardt, still a factor, very much so in this race, as are 20 others in that lead lap. When we come back, Rick Wilson is still out there as the leader. Ricky Rudd's in second, Mark Martin's in third. Hard 500 race summary is sponsored by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil. Halfway point in the Die Hard 500 today, and we've had 9 different leaders. The record is 26 back in 1986 when Bobby Hillin won it. That lead has been swapped 18 times. The average speed is 178 miles per hour. The record for the race, 186 by Bill Elliott back in 85. There have been 2 caution periods, of which we are currently in the second one, created when Harry Gant was in an incident down here in turn number 2, and the earlier one was with Wally Dallenbach's car, also in the turn 2 area. 3 cars are officially out of the race. Dallenbach, Ken Schrader, carrying one of our onboard cameras today, and Harry Gant. So that's the story in summary form of what has happened here thus far at Talladega, Alabama on this 2.6-mile track today. Getting set on a restart, Gant's car has been brought in, and as they get ready to go, Rick Mast in one of the Jackson brothers cars being shown up in front with Ricky Rudd in second. And there's better than 100,000 out here in extreme heat. We've gone halfway, and there is the possibility we may get some showers, but this race is now official since we're halfway home.
Yeah, anytime you go past the halfway point, it does become official. Of course, we hope we get to run the whole thing, and I think we probably will, but those fans are enthusiastic.
I think those are all Ned Jarrett fans out there.
Well, we see Rick Mast is at the head of the list. I think he only changed 2 tires, Ken, as opposed to many of the others changing 4 tires. The radial tires, the Goodyear radial tires that they're using here don't heat up as much. They don't wear as much, and as a result, don't slow down as much when they get heated up. So, good move there.
See Mark Martin in third. Hut Strickland hangs right on in 4th place. Good-looking strapping fella out of the Alabama area, and Sterling Marlin stays in that 5th spot. Those 2 men looking for their first win in Winston Cup racing. That's after 95 of 188 laps have been completed. Looking further back, Bill Elliott lies 6, Earnhardt 7, Bobby Hillin 8, Rusty Wallace 9th, and showing 10th is Davey Allison. The 11th spot at the present time is Morgan Shepherd, then Jeff Bodine 12th. Ernie Irvan finds himself in 13th. He's done a good job today. 14th is Joe Ruttman, and 15th is Chad Little's car number 19. Going 16th out there on the field is car 66, and Lake Speed's done an outstanding job as the Cale Yarborough crew is trying to get up into the top 10 for the first time this year. Here's Mike Joy.
Darrell Waltrip is back in, and I thought at first this might be just to top him off so he could go the distance on only 1 stop of gas. But some of the ductwork has come loose at the left rear quarter window, and that's how Darrell gets fresh air into that car. So they tried to rehook up the ducts, trying to make him a little bit cooler. Doug Rickard climbed over the wall, took the occasion to take a turn out of the left rear, making a chassis adjustment, and they did top Darrell off. I think at halfway, we might see some fellas try to stretch this and go the distance with only 1 more stop if we stay green.
Yeah, I would say that could very definitely be the case. That'll put Darrell back in 20th place now. There are 20 cars on the lead lap.
Let's just slide down through the field as we get set here to go. There's that number 1 car with Rick Mast currently leading for the first time today. Then Ricky Rudd is right there in the second spot. He could well be a factor down at the finish of this one. There's Mark Martin's number 6, which is in third, and the Buick number 12 of Hut Strickland showing fourth. The 5th spot is Sterling Marlin's number 22. And there in 6, Bill Elliott in car number 9.
He's running right up there all day long. In 7th place is the then Dale Earnhardt in car number 3.
Following him is number 42.
Bobby Hillin having a good run here today. And right behind him is Rusty Wallace. Last week's winner. He's currently being shown in the 8th position.
Then comes Davey Allison. Morgan Shepherd getting a call. We haven't seen too much of Morgan out here. I think he's a lap down. I think Morgan may have
I don't think so.
up a little earlier.
No, I
no,
think
you're right.
He's right there in the lead lap. They're getting the signal for one more lap. Then comes the car number 4 of Ernie Irvin, currently being shown in the 13th position.
Joe Ruttman should be right behind him. There he is, number 75 with that unusual paint job.
And Chad Little. There's Joe Ruttman up on the outside. The cars that are in the lead lap are lining up on the outside. These cars down to the inside are at least 1 lap down. There's Chad Little being shown in the 15th position. You see Barry Coates sliding in there. There's the car number 66 of Lake Speed we spoke about a little bit earlier. 16. And
there's a guy that has done pretty well. They started dead last. Well, not dead last. Started 40. Dave Marcus was dead last.
He can stay up there in 17th position. He might could get the catch-up award here today.
Of course, that's Dale Jarrett. And they say that car number 33, it just hand grenaded down here, blew an engine. He spun in his own oil. That's what caught him up.
That can happen. Okay, it's been released from the hospital. We're happy to hear that. They check Harry Hanover. There's Michael Walker. He was running in the 18th position. Then Buddy Baker in car number 20 is 19th. And then Darrell Walker, who made that late pit stop, is the 20th place car. So half of the field still in the lead lap. 20 drivers. Darrell Waltrip at the tail end of that lead lap.
About time for Waltrip to put the spurs on, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you, he's hung in there all day, but
we're halfway.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be last on the lead lap for too long.
Tail end of the lead lap. Inspectors are inspecting the top of the inspection station there.
Well, I tell you, just
or maybe they need a little bit of a breather.
Yeah, I would say if he's inside that thing, he does need a breather, so he's sticking his head out to get a little fresh air.
All right, looking for that number 1. 97 laps. Rick Mast is first. Strickland right there, and we're under green. Kulwicki immediately slips back 2 spots. He needs someone to play with here if he's going to get a run on those guys for.
Yeah, he would like. Now he's coming back up. That's him in the 7 car down on the inside. He would like to get ahead of the leaders, but I'll tell you, Ricky Rudd is going to make a determined effort to get around Rick Mast and try to lead a lap to get those 5 bonus points we were talking about a little bit earlier.
There's Alan Kulwicki in that 7, working hard to get that lap back. He has Rudd as they go into number 3.
But he doesn't have anybody wicking down there on the inside. The leaders are up on the outside now. The car number 1 pulls down sort of in the middle of both of those cars that are running side by side of Ricky Rudd and Alan Kulwicki. But Rudd boy, he would love to get enough momentum to get up there and lead a lap.
We saw him finish 4th here a year ago, and Alan Kulwicki just wants so much to get back up there and contend for this. Now here comes Rudd to the inside. The number 5 car moving up on Rick Mast, bottom of the racetrack. Ricky Rudd scoots into the lead.
Well, I'll tell you, the whole field is bunched up together here now. Ken, everybody heard Robert Gates talking about how anxious they were in the pits and seeing the cars run so close together. Well, since the early part of the race, we haven't seen them bunched up as much as they are right now.
Mark Martin finds himself placed in 2nd spot, and from Davey Allison's perspective, right down almost on the apron at 190 miles an hour, he lopes into turn number 3.
Okay, he's moved down to the inside groove. That's Rick Wilson right ahead of him. Rick is being shown in 29th place, but he is 2 laps down to the leader as we look out the windshield now of Davey Allison.
100 laps complete, this time by Neil Bonnet.
That we had earlier, the big traffic jam earlier, I talked with Robert Yates. They're doing something unusual. NASCAR furnishes an area for spotters. You have one per car on top of the building. The jam is so bad, Robert has sent 3 different spotters in different directions. It's kind of like pulling up the intersection and ask somebody on the right side of your car, can I move over? There's a blind spot in these cars. They don't have that luxury, so they're getting spotters all the way around this racetrack. The minute he plugged the hole, he's moving over. They're trying to get some help for these drivers to plug these holes and work this traffic.
There's no hole to be plugged out here. They're all filled up. Here's Davey Allison on the inside. Jimmy Spencer in the middle. Earnhardt on the outside. 3 wide as they come pressing down on the turn. That's back there in 7th spot.
And Ricky Rudd has taken over the lead, so he has got those 5 bonus points that we talked about. There he is out front with Mark Martin now sitting there in 2nd place. They've relegated Rick Mast back to 4th as Sterling Marlin has moved up to 3rd.
We'll let you see how the field is running. This is back after 95 laps. Some of those folks through the field that you're interested in. We watch this battle between a Chevy and a Ford up in front. Here's the Ford to the inside going into turn number 3. And they're going to make them 3 wide in there. Sterling Marlin hangs it on the outside.
Mark Martin on the inside. Mark Martin will come out the leader, but when they get straightened out here in the tri-oval, will he be able to? Yeah, I think he will. He has the momentum.
Great run by Sterling Marlin as he used the handrail right up against that concrete wall at 190 miles an hour. That great surge of power as they come across the start-finish line, head back into turn number 1. And it's Batesville, Arkansas. Mark Martin in front. Tennessee, Sterling Marlin in 2nd. Georgia's Bill Elliott in 4th. Alabama's Hut Strickland running in the next position back, followed by Ricky Rudd, the Virginian. Look at this battle up in front. Sterling Marlin right to the bottom of the racetrack. Derek Cope's car putting out some smoke. Derek Cope, winner of a couple of races. Here comes Hut Strickland down to the bottom of the track. Things not going well for that Whitcomb Racing team these days, and it may be the end of the afternoon for him.
That's the car number 10 of Derek Cope you're talking about. He had a ratchet to hang up in when he made his green flag pit stop a good while ago, but it had been running good up until then, but too bad now.
Let's look at that pack battling for the lead, and that is the battle for the lead going to turn number 1. Down to Chris Economaki with Harry Gant.
Harry, what do you think of the racing we're looking at here?
Well, it's you got to have them bunched together. I mean, in a line, one car can't go anywhere, so they got to have help from the rest of them.
What about you? Why are you here, Harry?
Well, I blew an engine going in the turn down there and glassed off the wall a little bit, but we're out for today. You know, the SCO team has done a good job, and something just went wrong there today. It didn't seem right, and something broke in the car, but we'll be back again. You know, we hope we'll be up there, but we had a lot of bad luck today.
Well, what's the racetrack like today?
Well, it's good. These tires are just super. I think you could run 300 miles easy on the tires and get your hands a new radio. Track's real good. Most of the cars are handling good. Most of them, though, just have to have several in a line. They just won't go by themselves.
What about the conditions for the driver in the car with the right side closed up in all this heat?
Well, it's not hot. It's not a big.
Ooh, trouble down in turn 1.
There's a major wreck developing in the 1st and 2nd turn area. 1, 2. There's Ernie Irvin's car getting collected. Rick Wilson is in it. Richard Petty slowing down. The Terry Labonte getting caught by Musgrave in the 55. A major incident developing in turns 1 and 2. This is at lap 104. They're racing back to the line. Here you see Jimmy Spencer's car crawling into the infield.
Major damage to it.
End of the day for him. Field running back to the line. Safety
of course, the caution is waving
toward position here. They're staying down on the grass as they go out to turn 1. Field coming by, being woed. It'll be Sterling Marlin across the line first. Mark Martin 2nd as they come to the line. There's the number 4 of Ernie Irvin, all torn up. He was collected in that incident. Again, it was lap 104 where it all broke loose up in turns 1 and 2. Jimmy Spencer clambering out of car number 98. What a bad break for Travis Carter. Harold Elliott's going to go to work. Let's see if we can see what happened here in turn number 1. Where did it begin?
Well, Ernie Irvin flipped sideways going into the turn. Now, whether he was tapped was that Buddy Baker right behind him. They're running awfully close together, and then he backs up into the car number 68 of Bobby Hamilton, and Rick Wilson right there with nowhere to go, and that's Spencer's car on the left up against the wall. Richard Petty spinning down on the inside. You can see Dale Jarrett getting down on the flat. He got through the mess.
Ernie Irvin took a left and a right there. looks like he was collected by Lake Speed after he was initially hit on the outside. You see Wilson's car coming down. So it looks like a 12-car melee down here in turn number 1. There's the second part of that incident. That was late in the action. It just happened here on the first and second turn up on the 33-degree banking. Again, it started near Ernie Irvan's car.
Well, it's ironic, Ken, that he would be involved here after his speech to the drivers in the drivers meeting this morning.
Again.
And let's see, so we see him go into that turn.
You'll see him get turned right there. I think he got tapped.
He might have got tapped a little bit by Buddy Baker. They were awfully close together going into that turn. And around he went and shot him right back up in front of a number of other cars, really blocking the racetrack.
Richard Petty got through it and spun. I think his car is all right. You see it spinning, but that was evasive action as he almost was ambushed down there by those spinning machines. We'll return with more live coverage of the Die Hard 500 at the Talladega Superspeedway after this message and a word from your local station. Watching 60 Minutes this summer, we'll try to make it worth your while with stories you might have missed and stories you've told us you wanted to see again. That's 60 Minutes tonight, followed by Murder, She Wrote, and finally the CBS Sunday movie Angel of Death with Gregory Harrison and Jane Seymour. That's tonight on CBS. Let's go down on pit road. Neil Bonnet with one of the victims of this crash in turn 1.
Ken, we're down here with Ernie. You know, after this morning, I know you want to get in here and get wound up in one of these things, and they said it's just an unavoidable deal. You're right in the middle of a big pack, and it's just tough out there right now, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, I was sitting there playing it real patient. You know, me and Rusty got way behind, and we decided to just, you know, we were drafting together and was running awful good, and then caution come out, and that's when the trouble happens. And we got tapped from behind a little bit. I don't know who it was, and it's one of them deals, Neil.
Looks like they got to do a little work, get this thing back in there for you.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll get it back together or not, but we'll work on it.
All right, bud, thank you. Yeah. Back to you, Ken.
Let's take another look in replay at this incident, which has brought out the third caution of the day.
Okay, we see the circle there, and you see the yellow car of Irvin there. It's up about in the middle of the racetrack. Now let's watch as they go in. See, he comes down just a little bit. Buddy Baker in the red car had committed himself for the bottom lane, and I'm sure Ernie didn't know Buddy was there, and it don't take much. He just tapped him a little bit, and it sent Ernie spinning around and then backed up into the other traffic. Knocked Spencer on the into the wall on the outside. Now let's watch this 19 car following Richard Petty through there. Look what a great move he makes. Dale Jarrett right behind him. Dale gets down on the flat part of the apron, but Little goes right through there, gets back up on the banking, comes through there unscathed.
So there you see Ernie Irvan's car.
Well, I tell you, he's in third place coming into the points, coming into this race here today. This is going to really hurt him. There's no doubt about it. They're putting some tape on the car number 20 of Buddy Baker. Maybe a little bit of a tap there. Mike's Joy.
Well, Ned, they're also got a piece of sheet metal there trying to improve the aerodynamics on Buddy's car so he can get back out there and run up in the lead pack. As you mentioned, he's a former winner here. He's the fellow that drafted Ron Bouchard along to where Bouchard scored that great last lap 3-wide victory against Terry Labonte and Darrell Waltrip in his rookie year. 15-second penalty on Baker. During that pit stop, counted David If, the crew chief, counted guys over the wall. Baker's version is that Irvin did come down the racetrack on him after he was already there and committed to the bottom lane, and clearly Buddy was right in the Ernie Irvan's blind spot off that left rear quarter panel. So now a heated argument between the crew chief and the NASCAR official over the penalty that was just assessed, and well, would have been a good day for Buddy Baker racing to the front is now taking quite a turn.
Well, of course, the 15 seconds won't hurt him nearly as much during a caution period as it would if it had been during green flag.
Well, they're going to have to brute strength that one back if they hope to go out and run for points at all. A year ago, he finished this event in 6th. Ernie Irvan today will be well down before this one's over. That's the third caution of the day in the Die Hard 500. Major incident. Back with more on that story in a moment. As the leaderboard turns after 109 of 188 laps complete, for the moment Sterling Marlin has the advantage. Mark Martin is in second. So that puts Ford 1 and 2 with a Buick in third of Hut Strickland, and Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet is in fourth, and Rick Mast with his Oldsmobile lies fifth on the field. Racing him down through, there's Earnhardt in fourth, and Rick Mast fills out that top five. A little further back in the field, you find Bill Elliott in 6th. Ricky Rudd finds himself in 7th. Davey Allison having to start in 8th. Rusty Wallace in 9th is Pontiac, and then Morgan Shepherd's Ford is in 10th position. 11th on the field is Jeff Bodine. Junior Johnson car. Bobby Hillen having a good day in the Sabetta's car is up to 12th. Chad Little stays there in 13th, being coached by Harry Hyde today, and 14th is Joe Ruttman. And Dale Jarrett from 40th is in 15th position for the Wood brothers this afternoon. A little further back out there.
Still 18 cars in the lead lap. 16th is Michael Waltrip. Darrell Waltrip is 17th, and Buddy Baker still in the lead lap is 18th. Brett Bodine is 1 lap down in 19th, and Alan Kowicki is being shown in 20th. He too is 1 lap down.
1 to go, and they're going to start them off again here. That'll bring us to lap 111 when they return to green. Average speed is down again to 161.3 miles per hour as the pace car bunches them up. Let's go to Mike Joy.
Accident repairs continue on Ted Musgrave and Buddy Baker's cars, and Mike Waltrip's coming in for a top off of fuel. But Darrell Waltrip's early strategy has proven prophetic. On that last run of Green Flag Racing, he was well out back of the lead pack. He had told Jeff Hammond on the radio, if I can't get right up front, I'm going to go find a comfortable place to run, far enough back to be out of the way of the traffic jam, but close enough where I can still run them down. And that's just where he was, and was able to back off and thread his way through that melee. And now he's still in contention while some folks are in the garage. Neil?
Yeah, we're right here now. You were talking about Chad Little. I'm right here with Harry Hyde. Harry, I know when I drove for you, love these old big racetracks, and Chad, you really got him running up there good right now.
Well, Chad's getting all out of what he's got. I'll have to say that. He ain't backed off all day, so we're just hoping for a little lucky break there and get in with a good draft. We can draft with the leaders. It's just that we have a little trouble getting up there. And once you get out of the pits a little later, get blocked, it really takes its toll on you. But he's doing a heck of a job in that Tyson Ford, and we're hoping the people at Tyson are watching because he's giving it everything he's got.
I tell you, this guy here has done a heck of a job on these big racetracks. Let's go down to Chris Economaki.
All right, thank you very much. We're here with Rick Wilson, driver the number 8 Snickers car. Rick, when Ernie Irvin is involved in an accident, everybody wants to know how it started. Can you tell us your version?
Well, I don't believe Ernie Irvin. It wasn't his fault. Somebody tagged Ernie Irvin going into turn 1. We got Ernie sideways and, got him pretty bad out of shape. And, it was just something Ernie couldn't really help. I really couldn't see who done it, who got into him. But, it tore from a lot of good race cars. The Snickers Buick was running good today, and we were involved in it. We're out of the race for the rest of the day.
I saw the car's pretty well torn up. What kind of a shaking up did you take?
Well, I'll tell you what, in this type of racing, it's called what you call ringing your bell. It rung my bell pretty good, but tore a race car pretty bad. So it's going to end our day for the Snickers Buick.
Better luck next time. Thank you, Rick Wilson. Back to you, Ken.
Remember, Rick Wilson used to drive that number 4 car before Ernie Irvin.
Sure did. We're about ready to go Green Flag Racing again, Ken. We got the field bunched up, I said a while ago, and I hope that was not any kind of an omen that when they're bunched up together, you're more subject to get in trouble, but they're bunched up again. The green flag waves, and Sterling Marlin takes off.
And with 112 of 188 laps now officially complete, Darrell Waltrip must run. Can't find a place to hide out there now. If he wants to go up, he has got to start flipping through traffic. A lot of stuff in front of him. 16 cars to be exact in that lead lap just in front of Darrell Waltrip as they head down the backstretch, with 18 cars being shown up in that first lap. Back straightaway is where Sterling Marlin is under challenge. You see Brett Bodine's car running a lap down. He's trying to make up that lap, being shown in 19th position. The green car won at North Wilkesboro for his only win a year ago. Way up on the outside comes number 6, Mark Martin. Tries to fade down through to the inside and then decides he'll just tuck in and wait a moment.
Well, there's a lot of jockeying around going on back there. We understand that Sterling Marlin, who's out front now that his Jackman maybe has gotten hurt, Junior Johnson might be put back into action as the Jackman for the rest of the day. They used to do it well, but it's been a while since Junior has swung that jack around the car.
One of the great pictures years ago was Junior swinging that jack, and was a NASCAR official standing a little too close, and he upended him, putting him right out of business. Back straightaway, trying to improve on 4 second-place finishes in his career, is Sterling Marlin out in front. There you see Martin right there with him. Meanwhile, further back,
Wicked, Jeff Bodine in car number 11. There's Michael Waltrip moving up through the field. He made a pit stop, as Michael Joy pointed out, to top the fuel tank off, but he's moving back up through there a little bit.
You see the 24 car with Dick Trickle at the keyboard this afternoon. Change of drivers there. single file it down into turn number 1. I think that usually happens after you have one of these major altercations. Everybody just settles down for a few laps and kind of gets back into the groove. Here's Davey Allison making a break on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to come up through. Davey Allison in car number 28 from 8th. He slipped back a little on the start. He's trying to counter right now.
Well, there's some of them didn't single down. Look at Michael Walker here running 3 abreast. 3 Pontiacs. That's Rusty Wallace in the middle. Dick Trickle up on the outside. He backs off a little bit. Here comes Chad Little. And the car number 75 of Joe Ruttman. Darrell Walker right down on the bottom of the racetrack now. That's a patented place for him to be. He might be ready to start rambling, but he doesn't have a lot of running room.
Up to 15th comes number 17, Waltrip, in that collection. 115 laps now complete as Sterling Marlin leads. Well, we've always talked about having those 10 or 15 car assaults on the finish line. We came fairly close to that last year when Dale Earnhardt won this race, but then he sorted it out and came across pretty clean. This could be the year when they line them up and make a charge. Well, there's Earnhardt right back to 4th, and you got to know he's ready to run strong. Rick Mast in the number 1 up on the outside, trying to circle around him.
Remember the good run he had at Daytona, finished 4th, his best ever finish in Winston Cup racing. Rick Mast, he loves to run these high-speed racetracks, and Ricky Jackson, who owns that car, does a good job of putting together these restrictor blade engines.
And as Earnhardt and Mast run side by side, the trio up in front draw away by about 3 car lengths. That will evaporate if they pull back into single file. Here's Earnhardt on the bottom, and he collects Ricky Rudd as a dancing partner, shoots the bottom of the racetrack. Let's see what they'll do in trying to contain that trio, trying to drive away. Marlin, Martin, Strickland, 1, 2, 3. Ford, Buick up on top.
Well, it is time of the race, Ken, even though they still have one more pit stop to make. But if they could, 2 or 3 or 4 of them get hooked up together and run away from the field, and then if they should have to make green flag pit stops, it would put them in much better shape out there, rather than being in a big pack of cars as we're seeing right there. Here's the 20 car of Buddy Baker. We saw him in the pits. He made repeated pit stops trying to correct that damage on the right front of his Oldsmobile. A little bit of tape flapping in the wind there. Don't think that'll bother anything for Buddy. In fact, it's not bothering his running. Watch him go up on the outside of Joe Ruttman.
For 15th. Ruttman in 15th. Not any longer. Buddy Baker scoots along on the outside. I've got to tell you, the mental fatigue from this race.
Wow, that tape touched Michael Waltrip's car when he came out and made that move. I believe that helped him. I believe that made that car run faster.
Here's Baker making a tremendous run.
Having the time of his life, and I'll guarantee you he is very, very happy inside that race car.
It's his favorite racetrack. He's won 4 times here. Once in this Die Hard 500, 3 times in the Winston 500. And look at him come on.
He retired for more than a year, but he decided he needed to get back behind the wheel of a race car, had a team of his own, sold it, said, I want to drive for somebody else.
16th spot.
Let's take a look again when he made that move and saw that piece of tape or whatever it was coming off the car. That's Buddy Baker up on the outside. There it goes. I believe that's a piece of sheet metal or something that came off of the bumper.
193 mile an hour average in that last lap on all of these leaders. They're averaging 193 miles an hour running this close together. Marlin first, Martin second, Strickland third, and here comes Earnhardt. The Intimidator is up to 4th. They do give him room.
Well, he'll make room. He doesn't need the full width of the car to get through.
An art in itself.
Yes, sir.
And Earnhardt is the master. Here's Chris Economack.
Well, we're here with Jimmy Spencer. Jimmy, who are you rooting for out there? Sterling Marlin, you know, Marlin and Jimmy Spencer are the only 2 drivers in the sport to wear toupees. Are you cheering for them?
Well, you know, I just hope that somebody wins that never won a race before. If it's Sterling or Hut Strickland or whatever. So, you know, whatever. Caution flag on the racetrack.
Okay, what do you see out there?
Well, we see some debris, we believe. We're being told there is debris, Chris, on the racetrack.
Probably that piece we saw fly off of Buddy Baker's car a little bit later, but it is debris on the racetrack, so caution is out.
Back here with the
Let's go to Mike Joy. He has more on that debris story.
Ken, we saw David Ifton crew tape that piece of aluminum to try to preserve the aerodynamics on Baker's car from where the 4 car came down into him. Apparently, they must have got a discount on their 200-mile-an-hour tape. It was only good for about 185, and off it went.
I thought it was 190. I thought
Well,
there
here,
was
here it is
190-mile-an-hour
again.
tape.
Well, I don't know. They've always said 200-mile-an-hour tape, but today, there it is. There's a piece flying off. It looks like it just went right on up off of over the fence, but apparently it didn't. There's a big wire fence there, so yeah, it came back down. So I'm sure that is the debris that's caused the caution here now.
So we're showing the fourth caution period of the day, 18 laps under yellow thus far, and we'll come back with more of the action for the Die Hard 500 shortly. Live final round coverage of the Cannon Greater Hartford. That's from the Tournament of Players Club in Cromwell, Connecticut. That's next on CBS this afternoon. Taking a look at the leaderboard there, it's Scott Hoke, who now is 8 under, and Billy Andrade is having a great day.
Well, I'll tell you, there's
Jim Gallagher.
so much competition in the golf nowadays. It's a pleasure to watch those fellas play. I just wish I could hit a ball half as good as they do.
Fair and Pavin started the day out in front. Going to be exciting. Pat Summerall and company along a little later this afternoon. We'll stay right here with CBS and stay right with us to the finish as we have 122 laps now down, leaving 66 to be run, 324 miles complete here at Talladega, Alabama.
There's Ted Musgrave's car being pushed backwards. He's in a tremendous battle for the Rookie of the Year honors in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. He was involved in that wreck.
They say that Joe Rutten has been sent to the tail end net on that lead lap. A little excessive speed in the pits, and there's a penalty.
Yep, that is definitely a penalty as they work on the car of Ted Musgrave. Former champion of the ASA series in the Midwest. Tremendous short track driver.
From the outset today, there has been a ugly harbinger of things that weren't too pleasant with big dark clouds, and they've just stayed out from the side of the track here, and we've had no rain as yet. All morning long they were predicting we might have some showers, but that has not come to pass. Behind the grandstand, it still looks mean.
Really been a great day for racing. You know, Harry Gant said, hey, it's not too hot out here. It's cool, but it was more this morning. It was so humid that the temperature was up there very high, so apparently it has cooled off a little bit out there, and it's a good day for racing.
Caution flag flying for the 4th time this afternoon.
That's Jack Steele we're seeing there with the yellow flag. Let's go to the pits. Okay, we'll hold it here for a moment as we see the Ted Musgrave car still in the pits as they continue to work on it. He and Bobby Hamilton are in a battle for the rookie standing. Now let's go to the pits and Michael Joy.
Well, Bobby Hamilton's car being worked on back behind the wall, and DK Ulrich talking with his driver as they're trying to move it back and forth. And car may be stuck in gear. DK, what's the matter with it? Well, they're going to try to push him, get him going in whatever gear he's in, and get him out there to roll around for a few points.
Okay, they get the signal for one more lap to go.
Spokane, Washington's Chad Little, who qualified 6th. Great effort. Now up in front, Harry Hyde, who worked with Chad for the first time at Pocono, and they came up with a 12th place finish there. Now have themselves the lead for the moment. This is the car they called Sherman. Wasn't that out of Rusty Wallace's team at one time, that car?
I don't know.
14 full-time guys on the crew, and 3 of them are fresh out of high school, and 2 are his brothers, so that's still kind of a homegrown team. They're doing very well as they lead here in car 19.
Still having trouble with this car number 55 getting it to going. They pushed it, tried to get it fired, and now they're pushing it back up pit road. Tough break there for Ted Musgrave. Yeah, Chad Little did not make a pit stop this time, Ken. Neither did Michael Waltrip. They both had stopped on the last caution and topped off with fuel, so they feel they can make it on one more stop. Everybody's going to have to stop at least one more time. So they said, hey, why not get up front? Harry Hyde always says that. Get on TV more if you're up front.
That's right. Stanley Smith in the number 49 is 1 lap down in the 19th position. He's trying to get one back from Chad Little as we get set on the start. Harry Hyde last week was saying, go up to the front, go up to the front. And finally, Little came on the radio and said, well, Mr. Hyde, I think, out of pit. He said, no. He said, well, why should I go to the front now? He said, well, you'll have more time for your sponsor. And he said, but I really don't have a sponsor. He said, well, you'll get one.
And he does have one on the side of it here today. Okay, the caution is being waved again, so they aren't getting the green flag this time around, as we had suspected.
You know, Harry Hyde has said, and it's an interesting point, it's easier to drive a good car in the top 5 and mix it up than a poor one back in 20th.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that. That's been true in auto racing forever. We understand somebody threw a beer can out of the racetrack, and that's the reason we had to go one more lap. But, yeah, if you have a car that's capable of running up front, it's much easier to drive than a car that you're battling with back in the pack and not handling good, not running good.
That's just sick, sad, and insane when people throw stuff out on that racetrack. You're going 190 miles an hour, and so there's Darrell Waltrip taking a leisurely look around the track under caution out here as he gets set to roll once again. Car number 17 is in
18th position.
18th position right
Last car on the lead lap. The points coming into this race, Ken, were Dale Earnhardt, of course, at the head of the list. Ricky Rudd second, Ernie Irvan third, Davey Allison fourth, Ken Schrader was